Hello, I'm waving at all of y'all. Yes, hi. Are they supposed to be quiet right now, Shiva, Maya, Sue? Is that what
No,
you all
we're
are
holding
doing?
space for like one more minute to, let
Oh,
folks
I'm
come in.
so sorry.
And folks are getting nice and cozy, Felicia, but we welcome the hey y'all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I say, let's just go ahead and get it because I know how we could
Yeah.
talk. And it could be, I want to honor everyone's time. So, my invitation at this time is for us to take a pause to ground and come into this room right here, right now, because we know it takes a lot for us to do the things that we do and to be present. So, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. And if closing your eyes is not accessible, maybe lower your gaze or identify something in your space that feels comfortable to put your attention toward. And what we're going to do now is just actively listen. Listen to the energies, feel the vibrations that are in your environment. And I want you to tune into the sound that is the furthest away from your body. And now travel to an audio that is closer to you or to a vibration that is closer to your body. And if you aren't already with your breath, if it feels accessible, tune into the audio, the vibration of your breath. And if that doesn't feel safe or spacious, gently tap your hands on your body so that you can tune into that space. And notice the sensations of the cool air rising in through your nostril and the warmth that comes from your exhale. Keeping your eyes closed, inhale your arms up towards the ceiling, expanding the body as you take in the air. Exhale, chin to your chest, hugging into the body on your exhale. Inhaling in, opening wide, taking up space, taking your body's time. exhaling once more, crossing the arms, chin to the chest, hugging into the self. And one more big inhale in. And this time, your exhale, your fingers are coming down like waterfalls, and you're bringing it out through your nose or your mouth, whatever feels spacious for you. And gently tap on the body with these wiggling waterfall fingers, tapping maybe across the heart, up the throat, under the chin, by the mouth, wherever it feels accessible for you. Gently bringing yourself into this moment, into this room, into this conversation that we're going to share together. And when you're ready, release your hands, open your beautiful eyes, look into your rectangle, and thank yourself for being here and for all that it took for you to get here. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, greetings. My name is Sheba, and I won't introduce myself just yet, but just offer my name, and my pronouns are they, she. And today we're going to really connect about Yoga Roots on Location, learn more about the yoga teacher training. So you'll have an opportunity to meet our team, get a sense of the training structure for the yoga teacher training, get a sense of our curriculum outline, what to expect, as well that beautiful question around tuition and scholarships. And we have plenty of space for your questions. We welcome your questions in the chat at any time, and we welcome you unmuting, and we will have a large amount of time at the end of the session as well to take your questions. So if something comes up, do not hesitate to bring that energy into the room, because that might be a question for all of us. Maya, can I get the next slide, sis? All right. So in general, we operate with community agreements, community practices, ways that we want to show up with ourselves in our practice, ways that we want to be in community with each other. And we really do a deeper dive once you're actually in the yoga teacher training. That's one of the first engagements that we have so that we can really cultivate that community practice. And so today, we're not going to go over our community practices, but know that they are there and they act as a system of accountability for us as a collective body of beings who are practicing together. One word intros and questions. Okay, so we have a museum of feelings, which is next. Maya, can you hit that next slide? And welcome to the Museum of Feelings. Not all feelings are named. We know that it is super complex, super intersectional. And so what we want to offer now is just a moment for you to review some of these words that are popping out on the screen. And I want you to identify maybe 2 or 3 that really resonate with where you are in yourself, in your day, in your practice, in your timeline. And so we're going to do a check-in about how we're doing right now. Like, for real, how are you as a human being in this realm today, in this moment? And so take a moment, go ahead and put it in the chat when you are ready. Thank you. And please take a look at what else is in the room with us. You know, we believe that we are co-creators and we're constantly co-creating our environments. And how we feel is a part of that. What feelings and energies are with us are part of that co-creative space. And so please do take a look at how folks are feeling as well. And thank you all for taking a moment to check in with us. Typically, our check-ins during the yoga teacher training are even more elongated, where we have time for discussion and unpacking. We wholeheartedly believe, like Adrienne Maree Brown says, that there is a conversation in the room and only we know it, right? And so that's from emergent strategy. And so we definitely operate in that realm of honoring what shows up and really being accountable to one another and supportive of one another in that space. So I thank you all for this brief check in. And Maya, can you go to the next slide for us? And I do want to just read some of the check ins before we jump right into it. We're seeing exhausted, grieving, and grateful, vulnerable and hopeful, overjoyed, thoughtful, attentive, stimulated, supported, hopeful, vulnerable, affectionate, shedding, shedding, self conscious, grateful, experiencing time and space traveling, anxious, grateful, powerful, loving, encouraged, full of wonder. Yes, thank you for that, full of wonder. Absolutely. And so I want to offer some of the historical roots of Yoga Roots on Location. So I was introduced to Felicia when I was a college student at the University of Pittsburgh. And that was like, I don't even remember how long. That was like back in the early 2000s. Like, I just can't even remember, Felicia. It was a minute ago. And I remember telling Felicia at Kingsley Association in Pittsburgh, I said, if you ever do a teacher training, I want to get down. Because it was the first time that I had experienced a yoga class where my body was not an exception. It was a part of the practice. And that for me was evolutionary. It was the first time I really felt safe in practicing and knew that yoga was for all of us, for real, for real. Felicia kind of conceived this practice, I would have to say, over 40 years ago. And for real, Felicia has been practicing for 35 years and has been instructing for 30 years. And she tells the story of one of her homegirls saying, I need you to teach. You need to teach. And that's Sister Jermaine, who's one of my dear sisters as well, who's who's a beautiful artist and instructor. And she encouraged Felicia to take her practice to a whole nother level. And so Felicia started teaching 30 years ago, and Yoga Roots on Location was birthed from her practice, from her lived experiences, and specifically looking at an anti-oppression lens, which we know is within the Raja Yoga practice in itself. So it was finding that language, finding that coupling, that connection to do anti-oppression work, to practice yoga, and to share it with the mass that Felicia created Yoga Roots on Location. That was in 2014 when it was put, kind of conceived to paper. And in 2016 is when it was birthed to life. It was the first cohort of Yoga Roots on Location. And I am so proud to say I graduated from that cohort. Okay, and it took me years to get my certification. Let me just say that up front, and just keep it a buck and a bean. It took a very long time to get my certification because it's not your average yoga teacher training. It's not about how many asanas you can do. It's not about how flexible your physical body is. This is truly a practice of unveiling the self to the self, being the seeker and the practitioner all in one. And we really go in depth in our yoga teacher training. We have had over 151 alumni. Maya is an alum, Sue is an alum, and a lot of our speakers that you'll have an opportunity to connect with if you join the flight are alum of this program. And we're currently on flight 6, and the new cohort begins in August, and that will be cohort number 7. And the universe did what it needed to do. Yoga Roots was forced to go virtual in 2020 to honor the reality of what we were experiencing in humanity. And since then, it has created an access point for so many bodies. And I have had the honor of witnessing so many people who may not have joined the program, the cohort, because of limitations. And this program is making it accessible in the best ways that we can. And of course, there's more learning, which is why I really appreciate Yoga Roots on Location, is because we're constantly learning. Even when we talk about our syllabus and our training, I just want to name this because it's something that's very important for me, is that we literally have a living curriculum. That curriculum honors what is happening in the world. When we need to stop and grieve, we grieve together. When we need to laugh and be joyful, we take that time to laugh and be joyful. So it is truly a practice where we are moving with the flow like water. You know, water can go into a variety of different spaces and take different shapes. And that, in essence, is how I see our curriculum, but it's rooted in the same foundation practice. And that is Raja Yoga, looking at yoga philosophy and really getting into our bodies and our histories and herstories and zerstories and really honoring that which is the landmass of the self and the lands in which we are currently on, which, as you know, is unceded territory to our indigenous community members. So we bring all of that up for real, for real. So I think at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Maya.
Thank you, Sheba. That was a delicious intro. I'm like, oh, I want to work for them. This is beautiful. I'm Maya Savage. My pronouns say my name. If you forget, use any pronouns. I'm really not tripping because it's just important to be able to be in space with you all. I am honored, grateful, and humbled to be Felicia Savage Friedman's youngest, her baby, of 33 years old. And this has been, Raja Yoga has been the practice that I was raised in. So Ma had me, and I'll tell my birth story because if I don't say it, I know she would. 18 hours of hard labor, 4 hours. I ripped her perineal, and I apologize, Ma. I
Oh,
know I
that
was
is so,
literally a pain in your ass. Like, I actually get that. So excuse me, y'all, if cussing is not your jam, but like, I just thought about that. I was like,
yeah,
I literally did.
yeah, we could.
You know, and we are Black women who are practicing an East Indian tradition. So it's very important for us to honor the Raja Yoga path from the lens of our own lived experience. And so each of you will have your own definition and understandings of the Raja Yoga path because it is so very personal. I'll share briefly that I was not in the first three cohorts because I was in New York and I was really in a space of trying to disconnect from my body. New York was the experience of me being a teacher and educator, and I wasn't really present to the deliciousness that Mom had to offer because I really did not trust her. And that's been something that we've worked through in our relationship, and the reason that we're able to do this work together now, because we both have earned each other's trust. We have been through literally hell and back, and able to experience this astral plane, and this beautiful existence together now, and be able to share with you all what it looks like to be in righteous, intense, beautiful relationships with family members as well as chosen family. So yeah, that's my intro in this moment. And we're practicing and grounding everything that we do in unconditional love, which means that no matter how you act, how I act, we are still going to hold each other accountable and be in relationships unless you choose to quit me, as Ma would say, right? So if you choose to break up with me, that's all right. I'll leave you alone, but we want you to continue to be able to be in the beautiful, healthy, reciprocal relationships of Yoga Roots on Location in this cohort, in the past, and beyond. So we are, as you all see our story, we are a collective liberation practice. And we do not take that lightly. Collective liberation, we are not free until everyone is free. And so the work that we do and practice is even at the grocery store, in our driving, in our eating, in our meditation, in our physical practice, in all of the ways. So this is a true embodied practice. So really, where is it living in your body? So even noticing for yourself as you came into the space, where did you feel this in your body? Where did you feel our collective experience in your body? So me, I'm feeling it in my hands. My hands are a little sweaty because I get nervous, because I get so excited. And feeling also just so grateful and grounded in my tailbone. So feeling that rootedness and connection to the earth beneath me, which is the couch is in between us right now, but that's my own grounding. So just noticing where you felt this experience in your body already and just sitting with that for a second. Continue to breathe at your own pace, honoring and acknowledging whatever sensations you noticed. And coming back into our collective space. So briefly, once again, when we look at these different systems of oppression, we understand that it's important for us to navigate around them as well as honor what is. So we do have a relationship with Yoga Alliance, the certifying body, so that we are able to continue this practice and are certified. And I put it in quotes because there is no external certification. We only can validate ourselves and each other, but in this, we also have Yoga Alliance. So, because if not, right, we got to have something to show. That's this plane that we're living in, right? We all have to have something to be able to show that we are certified. This is a 13-month training, and truly, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and the Raja Yoga 8-limb path is going to be all tied in and throughout. This is as I said, this is a very personal practice that we are gifted the opportunity to practice in community. And so with this, you have the opportunity, if you choose, to become Yoga Alliance certified. But if you already have a yoga teacher training certification at the 200-hour level, 300 or 500, then really this is an opportunity for you to continue to grow your practice and engage with it in a different way. All of our opportunities are really true antidotes to oppression. So anytime that we are noticing those systems of oppression show up right now, capitalism is really intense for me right now. I'm really navigating not being attached to my self-worth of what's in my bank account, because that would not be valid. So in this moment, just being able to acknowledge that. And so being able to be in that practice of self-study so that we can notice the ways that we're showing up in these systems and also what we need to shift so that we are not complacent or also perpetuating those same toxic behaviors. Anything else you want to add here, Sheba? I don't know. Ma, there was just something that told me to check in with y'all.
I would just add one layer that is really important. Practice is a critical part of our yoga teacher training. And the reason for that is for so many things, but Patanjali talks about it at the very beginning, right? Where we are introduced to, and so like the practice begins. You have to start at some point. And systems of oppression started before we even came into this realm. So we've inherited a system that has literally raised us, raised our understandings about resistance, about care, about love, about all those things. And so our yoga teacher training really is a practice of going into the internal world and the memories that travel with us, regardless of if we address them or not. It is a practice of that type of unveiling to yourself. And it's a room where other folks are unveiling themselves aloud as well. So it is truly a place of vulnerability and real shit, real talk, keeping it a buck, it is about naming for yourself yourself. I don't know if folks are familiar with the four agreements. And like there are certain things we inherit about ourselves. And for my own self in every cohort, I continue to witness what isn't true about me and what is true about me. So I just wanted to name that part as well, Maya, as we talk about these systems and using Raja Yoga. So thank you, sister.
Absolutely, sis. Yeah, I was like, something told me. Yeah, thank you for that deliciousness, Shiva, right? So it is in our practice.
I don't
Oh,
have any. Yeah. Thank you,
oh yeah,
Maya.
Ma, I'm sorry. I saw you shake your head no, so that's why
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
okay. Thank
check in
you.
again. Yeah, I'm sorry. So you all have heard us talk about the Raja Yoga path. You will hear us time and time again. We'll ask you throughout training, but where does it relate to you? So just take a couple minutes, you all, to glance over this list. I'm not going to go through this in depth, but this is really an opportunity for you to get an understanding, start to glean some understanding in this moment, and then when we are in training, we will go in depth in it, but also want to offer if anyone has any questions or there's any confusion, please ask in this moment as well. And I can't see the chat, you all, because I truly am not a good multitasker. So Shiva, Sue, y'all let me know. Oh, that's y'all unmuted at the same time.
Yeah,
Nothing in the
there's no namings, but folks greeting each other and lots of love in the chat.
Beautiful.
No questions right now, sister.
Okay. All right, y'all. So just a brief overview. Once again, the niyamas are the ways that we engage with ourselves, and the yamas are the ways that we engage in relationship. So you all, those are like the two limbs that it's like we will come back to consistently because this is about community, as well as the only way that I can treat you any different is I have to be able to treat myself in a different way. I have to show up for myself. I can't show up for you if I haven't been showing up for myself. So the niyamas really give us that access point into how are we going to engage with each other. The asanas are really the physical postures. So even as I shared earlier, doing your dishes, walking, all of those are practices of our physical postures, as well as the 100+ variations of the yoga poses as well. A lot of my practice is more restorative. So you all will have an opportunity to engage with those restorative asanas and those physical postures because I still navigate on occasion. This is interesting in this new season, not experiencing as much chronic pain. And actually, I can share in this moment, I haven't driven in years. But yesterday, I actually drove. So even in that, that was a moment of engaging a physical posture and seeing how intense people navigate the weapons. And I'm using those weapons as cars. People use their cars as weapons at times. I'm trying to use the car as a loving hug and give people their space. So just a newer practice coming back into for myself. Pranayama is the way that we breathe. In this moment, I've been talking so fast, so I actually do have to take a breath. Calm down, line. Everything will be okay. Sensory withdrawal is engaging our senses and being able to be in that practice of pause. So, for instance, that could be from technology. So, usually in the morning and in the evening, I'm not on my phone or my computer until 2 hours before and really after I wake up and before I go to sleep, just to really create that distance between my senses so that I'm able to really notice what's showing up for me internally instead of that external stimulation, which also is a practice of the concentration. So being able to notice what is your point of concentration, and whatever we are concentrating on is going to grow or constrict. So that is really just a practice for us to be able to notice that balance between. Our meditation practice, pretty clear. We have a universal meditation practice at Yoga Roots on Location, which means no matter what your religious or spiritual influence and practices, this is an opportunity for all of us to sit in silence and stillness together and simply noticing on our breath, noticing and focusing on our breath. And so with that, we have our last limb, which is samadhi. And that really is for each of us. We have a unique and beautiful purpose on this plane of existence. And only we know what it is. So we have to go through these 8 limbs to be able to come back into what that purpose is, what that unique, delicious, beautiful purpose is, to share our gifts with each other. And so, as I said, we will go through this. Even for myself, Ma and I, when I first came back from New York about 5 years ago, I was like, there's no connection between the 8 limb path and human rights, because as I shared y'all, I was so disconnected from my body. So I had done the CrossFit, the hot yoga, the power yoga. I taught it, loved it, was here for it. A very physical practice, but I wasn't even noticing how I was actually showing up in my relationships and how I was showing up for myself, which at times I really wasn't able to be present with myself. That was that level of engaging as many distractions as possible, because that was my practice. And so Ma and I have gone back and forth. We've been able to really get to the understandings and the understandings of the connection. But once again, the only way to create that connection, you all, is to embody this practice. It has to be part of your everyday movement and engagement with yourself and therefore the world.
Thank you, sis.
Oh, yeah. Shiva, is this you, or I thought this was still me? You wanna jump in?
Nah, that's you, sis. You got it.
Okay. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure. So we have our team here, y'all. So Felicia Savage Friedman, she, her, hers, is our lead instructor, which means that she has completed ERYT 500-hour trainings with Use It, with many other organizations, and has just really been in practice for 40 years, as Shiva shared. So also the CEO and founder of Yoga Roots on Location. Shiva Giddens, as Shiva shared, our co-lead instructor, who, once again, I have to give it to Shiva every single time that we are in space, because she was able to really hold space for Mom and be there as a support for a co-lead instructor way before I had the capacity. And so I'm always grateful, Shiva, to you, because of the way that you've loved on Mom and you've really shown up. So I really appreciate you, sis. My name, Maya Savage, as I said, say my name, co-lead. I received my first yoga teacher training in 2009, and then my 200 hour in 2013, and my second 200 hour with Yoga Roots on Location during the pandemic, so 2019 to 2022, or really 2021. And so I've been teaching, I've been a certified yoga instructor for 15 years. And as I said, my practice has shifted in many different capacities, and coming into more of a restorative practice and meditative practice at this stage. We have the great Dr. Stephanie Jupiter, who will be our instructor and guest teacher for Yoga Anatomy. Yoga Anatomy, if you're not familiar, is going to be one of the resources that we will share with you all, that you'll have access to the online platform, as well as the information that is contained within our Google Drive. Dr. Stephanie Jupiter is a podiatrist by trade, but really makes the connection between the sole of the foot being our soul. So whatever we are navigating within our ephemeral and physical experience, it's going to show up in our feet, because that is our first connection to the earth and therefore to ourselves. And so her wisdom is just, it's awesome. It is awesome. So I'm looking forward to you all being able to engage with her. And then we have Sue Shannon. They are awesome YTT operations and also just like all over support. Sue, Sue's a real one, y'all. Sue's able to hold me accountable and get me together, which not many people can do. So I really appreciate, I really appreciate Sue. So, and any questions, probably you all have talked through your onboarding with her and really being in that practice of any communications needs, tech support. Sue is our go-to person, but we also want to make sure that she's not overworked. So we try to make sure that Sue has balance and honoring healthy boundaries. Clearly, we're still working through that because I have to say it out loud to myself and Ma. Shiva does well with it, but we love a late night text. And that's, Sue's like, email it, please. So yeah, y'all, that's our team. I'm really excited to be able to meet all of you in the future and in this moment. And yeah, looking forward to being in community with y'all.
Thank you, Sheba, Maya. Oh my gosh. I'm on my phone, Sheba, Maya, so if this is my turn to speak, you all let me know when I need to say something.
Do you have anything to share right now, Big Sis? Because we got this next couple of sections, but it would be good to hear your voice if you wanted to bring some vibes in before we hit up this next section.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm really tender right now, so thank you, Sheba. This is quite historical, in as much as this being our 7th flight. And so I'm just sitting in our success, and understanding that, yeah, to get here, it has taken a lot of time and energy and commitment and promise. And I'm feeling just so grateful in this moment. Yeah, so yeah, this is so powerful. This is my dream come true. So I'm sure in you all's lives, you've had dreams that have come true. And so that's what I'm sitting in right now, just seeing you all on in your little squares, and listening to Sheba and Maya right now. And yeah, I'm just so pleased. I am so pleased. Like, I can go up in the rapture right now. That's how pleased I am. Like, and make no mistake, I got a whole few things on my list that my bucket list that I want to do, but I'm feeling very pleased. And then seeing the folks that I'm seeing, like, Renee, your Miss Healthy Start forever and ever for me. And Tamika's cousin, so it's just, yeah, the history that we have is incredible. So it's beautiful to see your face and to see your little baby boo-boos, and congratulations on your baby. Yes. And Laverne Baker Hotep is our resident numerologist. To see you here, sis, I'm like, Laverne and I have been honoring our wellness practices for many years. We go back probably as far back as Sheba and I, so it's just so powerful. I mean, I love community, and yeah, I love humanity. And I know we as humans, because of these relationships. Oh, Montia is here. Montia is my cousin, y'all. I didn't even see you. Oh my gosh, Montia, welcome. Yeah, number 7. What does the number 7 represent? Ah, shoot, we got the numerologist. Sorry, Laverne, but what does the number Montia is like? What's the number 7 represent? Come on, just give us a snippet, Laverne. And now, oh, also, part of your yoga teacher training program is to have, we offer, you have a numerology reading and you have an astrology chart reading. And if those aren't things that, you want to do, you can just waive them. But everyone who has done them is just, it's life-giving. So we strongly encourage you all to get the readings. But again, if it's disrespectful to your spiritual or religious practice, absolutely not. You can always have a waiver. Did Laverne still hear you all? Total spirituality, wisdom, and going inward. Yeah. Well, yep. That's it.
Yeah. It's just amazing that this is the 7th year and this is I'm just in awe of that right now as to what that what that means, plus how important that number is in your
My chart.
in your profile and your chart. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is like a culmination of the work. This is a very powerful time, highly spiritual time, and really a time for the organization to just really review and remember, put the parts back together, remember why of this, and just, yeah, that's what this is totally about. Oh my gosh, so powerful.
Ooh, yes.
Thank you, Ms.
Laverne,
Laverne.
that's such alignment and confirmation. Such confirmation, because Yoga Roots on Location, I've never done this by myself, but there were times that a lot of the work, those first couple of years, a lot of the work was on me and Amanda. I got to bring in Amanda K. Gross because she held it down with me as best as she could. White woman that we did many years of organizing in Pittsburgh. So hosting People's Institute for Survival and Beyond. I'm doing racism trainings with youth as well as adults. In the city of Pittsburgh, when it wasn't popular, this is pre-2020, you all. So it wasn't popular. We got kicked out of a couple spaces that, because we talked about white folks and white supremacy culture, and we weren't backing down from it. And it was interesting in 2020, 2021, a lot of those spaces invited Yoga Roots on Location back into them because of the uprisings and, all the revealings that COVID. Oh my gosh, Renee, 7 pounds, 7 ounces? Oh, wait a minute, what else? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's such confirmation. And see now too, okay, I know I'm probably going off, but the level of alignment and the response from the universe that we are getting with us petitioning the universe, like when we're asking, we're getting answers right back. So this is another level of confirmation that, it's just, this is the time, either the time-space continuum is squeezed. I'm getting older, I don't know, but it's all happening because I'm 60 this last year. So this is a time of, even the organization, we're shifting and we're changing. Just the fact that you have co-facilitators is just dynamic. Like I can show up and be late, and still the training is being held down in the way in which I intended, from that conception and birthing process that Sheba so well articulated. yeah, the beauty of this right now is I'm feeling, and I'm sharing this to you all, and so it is public that, I could step away from the training and I know that it would still continue in the spirit of, yeah, I'm feeling that because I'm really into my artistry right now. And I'll forever be connected. But I don't know. I'm being expansive, and I know I'm being called on because I'm um it's hard for me to delegate. So this is the time with our organization. We're just, and me personally, that I'm being called to be even more expansive. So yeah, 7 is woo, is kicking my ass though. And I am the cussing yogini. So if cussing offends you, I'm sorry, but that I'm not changing. Because as a Black woman, I gotta cuss. I'm telling you all, it helps to keep everything down. So I gotta keep it real with you. In some spaces I can't do that. Like tonight, I'm going to a space, I can't cuss. I know I can't, I have discernment. And that's what this practice has taught me, so I could go on for hours. So I'll be quiet there unless there's something Sheba, Maya, Sue, you want me to share, let me know. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Ma, for sharing.
Mhm.
You probably couldn't see the chat, but I was like, you're going to be 61 in August, which is a 7. So this is literally like the alignment is off the chain. So yeah, this
And I
is
gotta say,
beautiful.
this is like really giving me chills all through my body. Like, Sister Laverne, thank you for the naming. So wonderful for the question. Thank you for the question. Yeah, y'all. This is about to be a fire cohort. And I'm gonna just throw it out there. I was born on a 7 too. So this whole conversation is giving the 9/7. I'm September 7. Like, it's just giving the chills in my body to know that, again, shout out to Adrienne Marie Brown. The folks that need to be in the room are in the room. And so I just appreciate that energy and folks bringing their voices in. And so I want to bring us back towards a bit about the training and some of our structure, some of the structural things. So affinity spaces are tender. I'm going to just be real with y'all. Affinity spaces are tender. And in our yoga teacher training, it is a part of our structure and a part of how we unpack and contextualize our experiences in this reality that we have inherited. And we have 2 affinity groups. The first thing I want to name is that we know that the world is more complex than any words that we have inherited under a racialized system. So let's just get that clear. We know that culture supersedes all of that made up mess. And because we are living a very clear reality with access and lack of access and perception and healthcare and all the things that impact our well being, we have 2 affinity spaces, and it's white folks and then folks of the global majority. And a part of this practice is knowing that we have different work to do. There's just different work in this human experience for us to do. There's a lot of tending to our souls in different ways because of the ways that we have access to just existing in our bodies, in our practices, in our own cultures. And so we do have the 2 affinity groups. We know that it's tender, and we are here to talk it out. Every cohort, we are here to unpack it, to sit with you, to hear your lived experiences, to hear the tension points, to be with you in that practice. And ultimately, it is for you to decide where you are within the affinity group space. And we'll have time for that. We just wanted to offer a gentle naming. Maya, can you hit that next slide? Because it's probably my favorite. This the juicy part of things, the meat of the coconut. Okay. Our weekend structure. Shout out to virtual. Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. Yes, coming in person is all right, but let's keep it virtual for a while where we can be in our own home spaces. There will be times where coziness is invited into our training. Actually, coziness is always invited into the training space for sure. But there are times where we ask you to get extra comfortable, to curate a space within your space to hold you during our yoga teacher training because it is tender and we do want you to have what you need. So our training sessions are completely virtual. It's one weekend a month, and we don't have training in January. January is a month of rest, restoration. It is a time for folks to catch up with material and or take a pause and exist and be and catch our breath. It says October, that is a skipping, but it's not a skip. In October, we connect with the Human Solidarity Project. And this is where we really get to dig into our
Sorry.
groundwork.
Sorry, Shiva, I'm going to interrupt you. This is the next October where we skip to let folks catch up.
Oh, okay. So, but for folks who missed it, they'll
Yeah.
then be able to join that one. Thank you, Sue.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, but we'll clear that up in the future when we actually go through the syllabus during our orientation. So thank you, Sue. And attendance. Okay. We do have a missed class protocol. However, I want to be very honest with you all. As best as you can be there, that is what I would encourage prioritizing. I have sat in on the last, fully, I would say the last 5 to 6 cohorts, the first 3, and then the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Maya's cohort is the one cohort where life was happening at a very tender time for me. It's when I birthed my son. Shout out to Renee being in this room because she was a Black woman who made sure I survived the system that I was in. She is a part of my breastfeeding journey. So I am bigging you up out loud, sis. To see you in this room is everything for me. So I thank you for being here. So I've been in the cohorts Felicia said I could come, and I said, I'm still coming. It was just something that I knew I needed to be present for my own unveiling and affirmation. And what I noticed, Felicia,
I'm sorry, Sheila. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
please.
but can I just interject this?
Sure, we welcome it.
So Sheba was in my first cohort, but Sheba was there as a student, you all. But you got to recognize when there's a teacher amongst you who's who's receiving their studentship, and that was Sheba. So Sheba helped us pull off each of the flights that you were, so 2016, 2017, you helped us train in that time. I remember us going back and forth about body, about fatness, about, like you were my teacher. And so I was able to show how the teacher can be a student in the moment in that training. And I think that was very dynamic. So I don't want to minimize that at all, Sheba, because you've always been a trainer and a student in our spaces. So you really exemplify that. And so I have to give you big ups on that. So thank you. Thank you. And only I can say that, I get it. But yes, you were a trainer from 2016, sis. So thank you.
Thank
Sorry.
you. I wasn't prepared for my tear ducts to get active. So I'm just going to wipe those things away because that's something that is very special for me is I study best when the teacher also acknowledges that they are a student because we are forever students in our practice of discovering self because we are constantly unveiling the wisdom and ancient sciences of this universe as we reclaim ourselves, period. And so thank you, Felicia, for that naming. I feel like a very tender energy right now. So I'm going to just take my breath real quick. Whew, thank you. My eyes are still a little watery, y'all. Thanks, Felicia. But what I was leading to say is, and Felicia, I'm glad you named that. It was a place for me to practice showing up. Sister Laverne just gave us the understanding, some of the understanding of the number 7. And you see one of the words is inward. And I can stay inside of myself for a very long time. And the yoga teacher training was a place to show up in practice consistently. So I say that to say, as best as you can, prioritize the month, the time, the weekend that you have yoga teacher training. It only amplifies your process. And we understand that life be lifing. We understand the complexity of being a person in this world, getting our nutrients, making space for the ones that we love and care about. And so we do have a process for makeup. And the invitation is, as best as you can, prioritize this time. Specifically, March and October are 2 months that are a little harder to get that information with your, if you miss it. In October, our time with the Human Solidarity Project, Maya and we had Steph Joy last year, like just the information and the level of care that is offered is unmatched. We also do in March a training that is tending to our wounds, community care and tending to our wounds. And we may have heard this naming as mental health first aid, but we kind of did it a little bit different with Universal You. They offer us a really beautiful care practice for community care. And so those are times where I think it's just, it gives us a perspective of how to offer ourselves that grace that we need and that grace that we need to share with ourselves and others. So those are 2 months that I just want to amplify. And so we talk about 1 month. For 1 month of training, it looks like a weekend. And the weekends are already preset. Friday night, we gather together from 5 to 8 p.m. On Saturdays, we're together from 12 to 6 with a lunch break built in for an hour. And on Sundays, we're together from 12 to 6 with an hour lunch break built in. We also have the joy of Dr. Stephanie Jupiter, the podiatrist, our soul sister, literally your soul under your foot, the sole of your foot, Sistren, who offers us a really dynamic breakdown of the yoga anatomy. And we also integrate places of study within the yoga teacher training because we know you got a lot going on. We know that there is a demand of your essence and your time and your attention. And so we try to cultivate space within the yoga teacher training to take care of things, to review information, to connect with your peers. You know, some folks might say, I've heard, oh, you can't make connection on Zoom, but we got folks that are connecting away, okay? Folks are connecting because it is an intentional part of our practice to make sure that we build in that time to connect with the human beings that are in the room. The training weekends run from August of 2024. In August, we're going to have our orientation. It's just a one-day orientation on August 10th, and it's from 12 to 6 p.m. So it's going to give you a little bit of a sense of how that day might feel in your body, right? And then we go all the way to November 2025, and that is your month of graduation. Oh, it's so sweet. It's the month of graduation. And let me just emphasize that this is not school. This is not, you didn't get your stuff done, you can't show up on the last weekend type of thing. This is like, we're celebrating the fact that you are a being in this realm who has traveled this path with us together, period. If all that you have on the day of November 2025 in terms of our graduation requirements is you, that is it. That is the gift to us, is your presence and your essence, and the gift to yourself. So we'll get all into that energy throughout our training, but I just want to emphasize that because a lot of folks, you know, it can be a little bit daunting with the requirements that we have and thinking about time and commitment, but this is really about you doing you showing up for you in the best way that you can. And along that journey, you have a group of folks who saying, I'm with you. What's up? We want to check in. How are you moving? What support can we offer? So it is truly a place of care and practice, for real. I think that's it for me. And my sister Maya is about to lay out expectations. Oh, one thing I forgot to name is that we are introducing monthly intensives. And that will be a place, an in-person practice to go over the asanas, to go over meditation, pranayama, etc., different aspects of the 8-limb pathway to actually be together, be in our bodies together, and to practice together. And more information about that will come soon. But I'm going to pass it over to Maya. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sheba. Thank you. Thank you. So appreciate you. Like, and we have to be here for each other, because my Capricorn brain can be like, and let's stay on this schedule. And she was like, and this is the details. Thank you. Okay. Come on, Bill.
As we're waiting for Maya, let us just sit with our breath. Just sit. So I challenge you not to multitask at this time. So you don't even have to look at this screen. Just honor your breath, honor your being. As Sheba started us out, just honoring our being. We give a lot of opportunity for us to just be. Not doing, but be a human being. Not a human doing, but a human being. Just be. And just noticing, how does this feel in your body? And Maya, when you're ready, we'll come back and concentrate on you.
Thank you, Ma. Thanks for that pause. I know I needed it. You know, the little typing cat, that was me. And I was like, I don't know if you know that gift. That's great. So these are informing expectations. And the reason that we really pulled the quotes from our community, myself included, is because, and the way, Ma, that you phrase it is, for years, she kind of snuck folks. So people thought that they were signing up for a yoga teacher training, but it's really a self-care boot camp. And so we're deciding to be even more forthcoming in what to actually expect. And so I'll give y'all an opportunity just to read through these couple quotes, and we have a couple more from folks on our next page. But this is really an opportunity. I don't think we can say it enough. This is a practice, this is personal, and this is a growth space. It is really powerful. I just realized too that both of us will be in our 7th year at the same time. And so even just that, it's like a lot. I knew it. And every time I'm being tested. So leveling up. So yeah, y'all, give yourself an opportunity to read through these, and I'll go to the next one shortly. See you. And I do just want to make sure that I focus on even Ma's expectation, because I feel like this, I can be the, when I was a instructor for science and history in charter schools here, as well as in New York, I could be that very disappointed parent. And so the expectations and the ways that folks show up when homework isn't done was like, I was always there to be like, come on, y'all, like, what are you here for? But like, for real, this is really an opportunity. This is a PhD graduate level course that we get an opportunity to meet with each other once a month. But this is really about like, how are you practicing at least for an hour a day? And as I said, with the 8 limb path, it just gives such a level of expansiveness in terms of what practice looks like. So if you've intentionally breathed the entire day, you did it, right? If you listened to yourself, used the bathroom when you needed to, moved when you needed to, you did it. So it's also about being expansive, but you got to do it. We are human beings, but the one thing we got to do is us. So we have to show up for ourselves. And in our training, you really get the opportunity to show up as yourself within community. And so I just wanted to make sure that I brought Ma's quote up before we moved on. So I love, Sue, this is one of your quotes too. So I'll give folks an opportunity to read through these. Shouting out Sue and Lori, right? So expecting to be in the physical postures. Nope. You can get some yoga cards and be able to engage in that capacity or whatever physical practice that you might already have in place. But this is really a practice about living beyond the mat. As a yoga instructor for so long, I saw so many students rush to class and rush out of class, and that just throws it away. This is an opportunity to honor your transitions. You will hear all of us say that over and over again. That is definitely a mantra that we repeat and we live by as much as we can in our own lives. And that's why we are able to share this with you all. But this is really an opportunity to be in a space of reciprocal learning. You all have so much unique experiences and perspectives to bring. And so we want to hear from you all. This is not a lecture style. I would say our open house is the one place that ends up being our voices more than anyone. And this is it. So yeah, this is the moment that you all will hear us in these 2 hours the most. And after this, we really encourage space for silence and to really hear from you all, because that's what this is about. You all being able to share of yourselves, us share of ourselves, and be in that space of vulnerability. There has been shares that I feel that only could have happened in a space where people feel trusted, seen, and heard and felt. And so just to be able to continue that practice, we have to show up and share of ourselves. So those moments of discomfort or breakups and pregnancies and all of the things that could possibly occur in 1 year will occur within our cohort. I can guarantee you that. And since Ms. Laverne, you brought up this being a spiritual year, y'all, woo, be ready for a transformation. So I know I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to join you all in this journey. And so, Sue, is it time? Do I pass it to you? No? Sorry.
No, I think you have one more slide, maybe.
One more? Okay.
Yeah.
This is funny. It's not true. Go to the next one.
Of course not, right?
Right. Like, oh, okay.
This is how white supremacy works.
True, Ma.
The good stuff. Oh,
Yeah, that's so real, Ma. Because even I was at I went to IKEA because I'm in a process, you all, so you know my accurate location. I kind of snuck back into Pittsburgh after being away for 4 years, and I was at IKEA and I got, of course, the random search both times to get food
wow.
and to check out. And I was like, it's not random, but I'm okay with it. I've
Mm,
learned to navigate and use joy instead of anger and aggravation to engage.
yes.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, so thank you, Ma, for saying that and always reminding that is literally what we are working against. And so it's going to show up in all different types of ways. You know, and Ma, I think even when I think about the times that, and Sheba too, the times that even we've engaged, that there's been moments of tension that it's like, wait a minute, let's come back to our focus, our goal,
Mhm.
and our agreements. And
Right.
so in that, our curriculum is, Ma created this many years ago, and Sheba, with her beautiful Virgo self, has been able to engage. So two Virgos, this has been the birthing from two Virgos, which is like, of course, that baby's going to be incredible. Right. So in that,
Absolutely.
this is an opportunity. You all, Sue has worked so hard on creating this transcript that also came from one of our other yogis, actually, Ty, right here, who was in my cohort. And really to just give you all a space of organizing all your information and being able to track so that, for folks who really want to engage in the specific certification, it's very easy to keep yourself organized. And so the outside work commitment, I don't think I can stress this enough. 11 hours per month. And it's really just about how are you choosing to engage your time. I think about the moments that I really have just completely logged out. I've spent at least 11 hours every couple of days on just being able to watch something or unwind or scroll on social media. So it's just a noticing practice of what you're choosing to engage your time on. There's more than enough time for you all to be able to complete your work for the interviews that you'll watch, which are incredible. We have a lot of guest presenters who Ma has interviewed, and in this coming year or so, Sheba, Ma, and myself will be able to also engage with some more interviews, plus the yoga anatomy. And then you will be doing teaching and observing. So you do have to, once again, engage your own practice and engage being able to look at other folks' practice. Just as a plug, we as Yoga Roots on Location have a partnership with Yoga Motive. So you all will be able to watch the videos or engage in live classes, either physically or online, to also be able to complete your teaching and observation hours. You will have blogs that you will have for each day of the training that we have. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of really your own personal reflection. Ma, I think you had just read one of our folks' WordPress last week to me, and it was a beautiful poem. So it really is about, there's not one way. Once again, white supremacy culture says there's only one way to do something, but we have such a level of expansion that however it feels comfortable for you to complete your blogs, complete it in that way. So if it's a poem, a haiku, a 2-page essay, whatever, spirit is calling for you to do. And then for the certifications and readings, so this is any of our other practices that maybe there's an article, Patanjali's, the Yoga Sutras, and other specific information that you will have to read or review before coming into training. I do say that it's very important to be able to complete your outside work commitment prior to training, because it's hard for you to be able to be present if you don't know what people are talking about and you haven't done the review for yourself. Oh, see you, Ma.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yep. sorry. I missed you had an opening there and I should have taken that time to just say
No,
so
that's
long.
okay.
Thank you. And I hope to see you all soon.
Be well,
Yes.
Felicia.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ma.
See you.
Enjoy. And many blessings
Uh-huh.
on work. I know navigating our cousins out there.
Yes. Yes. Thank you all.
Yes. Um, yeah, I think that's it for our curriculum, you all. Other questions, comments, concerns, they might come up in the moment, and we're once again really ready to be responsive and assist you in any way that you need. This is also a plug. There's an audio version of the Yoga Sutras that our sister Uju from cohort 5 had shared with us. And also for the videos and yoga anatomy, you can always shift the playback speed for it to be a little bit quicker if that just works for you as well. So there's just, once again, multiple ways and entry points to be able to complete the task at hand.
Thank you, Maya.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Hi, y'all. I'm Sue. I got a lovely introduction from Maya earlier. Yeah, also a graduate of the program. I'm a queer cis white woman of British and Lebanese descent, and as you saw in my quote, the training came to me in a really transitional time in my life during a pretty rough separation and divorce, and it was nothing short of transformational. So it's such an unbelievable privilege to work with Felicia, and such an honor to be part of the onboarding process for you all. So I know I've talked with a few of you already, and it's lovely to see your faces in here again. And I hope I'll be talking with the rest of you really soon. So I'm here to talk to you about tuition and scholarship. Money can be a really uncomfortable topic of conversation, and the way we approach it is how Felicia has taught us to, and that's to sit in that discomfort with each other. And I'm here to do that with all of you one-on-one when we talk about tuition and scholarship, with tenderness and love. And our approach to tuition and scholarship is pro-humanity, anti-capitalistic. We practice through Raja Yoga nonviolence, and that includes fiscal violence. So we do believe that this training is a really vital and incredible path to collective liberation for a lot of us. And so we don't want there to be any barriers. And we work really hard to eliminate those where we're able, including financial barriers. Our baseline tuition, it's $3,500. We also invite people who are in abundance to pay a higher tuition. Some folks do. But the conversation we have with everyone looks the same during our onboarding call, and we'll have an honest and tender conversation. We'll ask you to practice the niyama of self-study, check in with yourself, be really honest with yourself about what your resources are. And we ask you to not commit fiscal violence within yourself. I know a lot of us we have the spirit of giving. And we ask you not to give us what you don't have in any form, including financial. And, in our capitalist structure, sometimes we can invent a false scarcity. And we ask you to just check in and be really honest with yourself about that. And then be really honest with us about it in the conversation that we have. And so we trust you to let us know what is accessible to you in terms of tuition, and where you don't have money accessible to give, we have scholarship to provide. We work ourselves at Yoga Roots on an abundance model. No one is ever turned away from the training because of financial access. And so if you need full scholarship, you get full scholarship based on what you tell us. And we don't ask you to jump through hoops. We don't ask you to tell us vulnerable aspects of your story, personal aspects of your finances. We just ask you straight out to tell us what's accessible to you, and we believe you. It's a terrible business model, and it's an excellent relational model, and it's an excellent form of rebellion against our capitalist structures. And I'm grateful every day to Felicia for promoting this model within our structure. So yeah, for those of you who haven't been through it already, when you register for our training, we'll do an onboarding call, and we'll just walk through this conversation together with tenderness and openness and love, patience and grace. For those of you who will be paying tuition, we'll provide you an invoice, and then it'll be up to you to decide what those payments look like. We accept check and we accept bank transfer. We do not accept credit card payments, and that's part of our nonviolence model, because we don't want to be part of you accruing debt on our behalf. We don't do automatic withdrawals from your bank account. Again, part of our nonviolence model. We don't want to inadvertently cause you financial harm by overdrawing your account. And so we just asked you to decide a payment method that you're accountable for, and we'll help you make sure that you're able to set that up. So we'll work together on that. And for those who can't pay tuition now, this is an ongoing reciprocal relationship. And reciprocity comes in all different forms, not just financial. Please know that you may not be pouring money into Yoga Roots, but if you show up as your full self, you will be pouring in, and you will be in reciprocal relationship with us, with Felicia, with Maya and Sheba. Money is not the only form of reciprocity here. It's one of the smallest forms. We also invite you, if you do want to engage with us in other ways that do involve money, and I'll be really frank about that when it's present, you can join our Patreon. It is a great way to get access to additional teachings, videos, recordings, and a way to pay in during the training, before the training, after the training, if that's accessible to you and that feels like what you want to give. Additional expenses, we don't ask you to get anything for this training. There's reading requirements. We provide all of that via PDF and audio recording. All you need is to be able to show up and be present with us. Whatever you're using now to do your yoga practice, that's all you need. We don't ask you to buy any materials whatsoever. If you do want to get the yoga certification through Yoga Alliance, part of your graduation requirements do involve completing CPR training, doing a child abuse history background check, criminal record check, FBI fingerprinting. Those things do cost money, and they aren't part of your tuition or scholarship, so you will be responsible for those separately. And the Yoga Alliance certification does cost right now. I can't guarantee it won't change in the next year, but right now it's $115. So even with full scholarship, these are some expenses you may accrue, or you will accrue, if you do want to get your completed yoga teacher training certification. Yeah, and I think that's everything for me. And I do just want to reiterate, like, having these conversations about money are part of our relational practice of sitting in that discomfort and moving through it together. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass it back to you and Maya and Shiva.
Thank you. Sue is our onboarding god mommy. Hook it up, sis. Get it together. I got all the details for you, what you need. Sue is that person in Brooklyn opening the jacket, like, what you need. You need your I got it. You need the curriculum, I got it. You need the PDFs, here you go. So definitely reach out to us. That's a part of like our next steps. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook. Join the Patreon if it's spacious, and if it's not, that's cool too. Catch us on all the systems that we're going to be on to make sure we stay connected to our human siblings around the world. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.